friction between you and your goals and that dream version of you. So you may be saying, what do you mean? And that's expected. You have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm some random guy sitting under a light in front of my car talking about friction. And you may be right, but I also wanted to talk about friction in the sense of the difference between you and you not accomplishing your goals. So when you think about friction, you think about heat, you think about rubbing against something, and that's definitely a concept I can go with, and I'll actually elaborate on it. Imagine you have, let's say, a skateboard wheel, okay? You have 4 wheels and one's kind of stiff, right? And it's making you lean, you can feel it in the tire, and you're not able to perform as well as if you didn't have that shitty bearing or whatever. So you either have 2 options, right? Get a new bearing or lube it up, right? And what does that lube do? It reduces friction. And when we're talking about friction in our goals, I'm saying make your goals easier for you by catering to them, in the sense of, if you right now, I'm gonna go do cardio. I'm at my gym parking lot and I'm gonna go do cardio. But how would I don't want to do cardio. I hate doing cardio. I want to be a fattest and I want to eat everything I can possible right now. I'm being so serious. That's my thoughts right now. So 1, I can't do that. So how can I make my cardio easier? That something I don't want to do. I can scroll on my phone. Like, instead of just sitting there staring at the screen, I can scroll on my phone, read a book or whatever. Ideally, I would want to read a book because I'm actually learning something with a book. 2, my biggest issue when I do cardio is I'm hot, right? Especially with your stationary. When you're on a bike, you have air blowing in your face. You're moving, so naturally heat's not going to build up on you. But when you're stationary, that shit builds up. It really does, and it builds up really quickly. So what is something I can do? And it's solving these little problems that you're constantly having while doing something you don't want to do. And eventually, when you kind of solve enough problems, your goals become much more easy to achieve. Like the things that are hard that you don't want to do, they become easier. And when it's easier, it's more likely you'll achieve them relatively quickly. But the point I'm trying to get at is reduce friction between your goals. The way I would reduce friction is by giving myself a fan, using my phone, or reading a book, doing cardio. It's literally you versus you, between you and your goals. It's how hard something is, and then how much work you're willing to do towards achieving it, right? And if you can reduce that work, you can do more hard things, which will get you further in life. So cardio, a fan helps a lot. My phone and my books help a lot. Instead of walking to the gym, I can drive to the gym. That helps a lot because it's reducing friction between me going to the gym and me staying at home. If I had to walk to the gym, you could say that's your cardio, but nobody wants to fucking walk to the gym, really. So there's so many little things that you can do that will help you get towards your goal. And I'm using the gym and dieting strictly as like an example. But let's say working, okay? You're working for hours and hours on end. And let's say you have a desk job, okay? All right, your back starts to hurt. Maybe get a better chair. Maybe that'll help your posture. Okay, now, the screen's not bright enough and I'm squinting the whole time and it's making me aggravated. Maybe get a new screen. Okay, the mouse pad is too small and I keep grinding off of it. Okay, get a larger mouse pad. And when you make all these things easier, you can do something longer. It's like a battery on a phone, okay? If my phone screen, it's at 100% brightness and I'm using my phone to the full capacity, even with background apps running, even though I'm not using them, it's going to reduce my battery much quicker versus when I lower my brightness, close all the background apps, it's going to let me last much longer. And in the financial world, and not strictly just financial, but in the real world, when you can do that, sit at the work desk a little longer, right? You have your own business and you're sitting typing away doing a marketing, anything marketing related, literally anything related to your work, and you can sit there for 10 minutes longer, right? 10 minutes compounds and another 10 minutes and another 10 minutes and another 10 minutes. And before you know it, it's 1.15, right? So that would be, you're getting this small percentage more out of your work, whether it's time or like volume. And when you do that every single day, you get further on this day. Now, since you got further on the day before, you can even get further on the next day. And when you do that over a long period of time, you inevitably complete way more work. It's the same idea of getting 1% better every day. If you can learn 1 thing or 2 things a day, even if there's something small like calories in versus calories out, that's still something you learned. 1% better. Now you keep doing that over and over again, and within a year, you're 37 point something times better. And within 2 years, you're 100 and something. And within 3 years, you're a few, like, the shit compounds like crazy. And when you can focus on making things, like, work smarter, not harder, right? And that doesn't say don't work hard. It's just saying make your work like last longer, almost. If you're working on your business constantly and you're doing all the little work and you can't focus on growing the business, if you hire an employee and focus on growing the business, you may get farther. And that's reducing the friction of doing the little work and then expanding on the larger work to be done. And when you kind of think in that way, you're investing into the future by reducing friction, you can make your life much better in a smaller period of time. And when you really start to think about the future and how everything, all the little things you do right now and all the big things right now, like you're doing right now, create a macro result, like these micro improvements create a macro improvement. Or if you do micro bad things, like, all right, I binge eat after 12 o'clock. Mind you this, I'm guilty of doing this too. I'm not purely judging you. I'm guilty of eating after 12. I've ate after 12 like a motherfucker, and I've ruined my diet within 10. Like, I've made all these errors. So I can say this from experience. When you do these little bad things on a consistent basis, they add up to being obese sometimes. Like, I'm not saying became obese, but I'm saying things add up no matter what. So the things you're doing, it better be something positive, because you don't want to look back and be like, fuck, I'm $12,000 in debt just because of XYZ, because of my spending habit, because I couldn't work long enough, or I said 12K in debt, but you could be obese. Okay, let's just say, fuck, man, I'm fat now. Or I didn't build enough muscle because my protein intake wasn't good. I had too little carbs, so I had no energy for my work. There's so many things. And when you can make things easier for you, so instead of framing it like this, okay, fuck, I have to cook every single day to get my protein intake and I hate cooking. What if you did prep meals? Mind you this, cooking takes time. So instead of cooking, you got prep meals and you worked in that period of time. You could, 1, afford those prep meals. 2, you could also, you have the ability to now eat really good food that you don't have to worry about making. Like, there's so many improvements with that type of thing. And as well as when it's prepped, that means you get like containers of food that you can carry with you. Sometimes you don't want to do the dishes. Now I can just toss that shit out right after. There's so many improvements. And when you can reduce all this friction that builds up, naturally things start to go smoother and smoother and smoother. And another much more simple way of looking at it is, let's say me and you on a slip and slide, okay? And me and you are gonna have who can go the longest distance, right? And there's a standard of me and you push whatever amount of force, and we go, both of us go exactly 15 feet each. Okay, now, fuck. If I can't change the amount of force I'm pushing, because sometimes you can't work harder. Like, people, if you work hard like, it's like a machine. You can only push a machine a certain amount before it breaks. It's like a car, right? There's a reason why we have an RPM limiter on it. You can't push it to 12 if it's built to go 8, because it will explode. But, oh, that's my coworker. Dope. But you can, like on a slip and slide, you can add soap and water. You can make it on a slight downhill or a heavier downhill, and naturally you just get pushed further and further. And when you focus on making things frictionless, your life can change so fucking quickly, because it's just all compounding from there. And the slip and slide's not compounding, but just work. I'm talking about work as well. Let's say me and you are running for president, okay? And both of us got 50-50 on our boards, or whatever, how, like, the voting's 50-50, perfectly 50-50, some way, somehow. It's 50-50 on the dot, 500 on this side, 500 on that side, right? That 1% improvement, that 5 people, even that, sorry, that's a huracan. These things are fucking possible, bro. These things are really fucking possible. You can't let your mind be weak. You know, you can achieve these things with ease if you push yourself. I can hear that thing from here. But what I'm saying is, when, let's say me, like, those 5 people, that 1% out of the 500 people makes the difference between you becoming president. Even that 0.5%, the 2.5 people, or 0.4, 0.3, whatever, the one person in a 50-50 vote makes that difference between who becomes president and who doesn't. And it's like stocks, okay? If I told you every single year this stock compounds by 15%, right? Over 100, realistically, I'm not gonna be alive for over 100 years, but let's just say, or maybe a month-to-month basis, okay? And I told you this stock compounds 5% like monthly, and then this stock compounds 20 or 60% yearly. I think I would rather go with the 5% on a consistent basis, because on a month-to-month basis, because I can actually do the math right now. I'll probably display the math on the screen, but 5%, 1.05, 1.05, 1.05, 1.05 to your money, to your money, to your money, 12 fucking times versus 1.6% once. I would rather go with that 5%. So focus on the little things to make your life easier instead of just doing one big result, because that one little thing, if you do that every single day, like it's like making 1% more every single day, 365% over a year, right? And if that 1% compounds, that's 370%. Wait, no, 3,700. I don't know. I'll display the math probably on the screen, but point still stands. Just make between you and your goals, there's a certain amount of work. Make the work easier, and then your goals become way easier, and you can just do more and more goals, and you just become a better version of yourself overall. But that's my note on the night. I'll leave it at that. Peace.